What's going on, guys? This is the Duel Factory. My name is Joe, and in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you an updated profile of my Tri-Brigade Zoo deck profile that I said I would actually bring you in the previous profile of this. I just haven't gotten around to doing it, but I have finally put my list together. This is coming out, the day after my combo vid for this actual deck, so I'm actually really excited to show you the actual updates to it. And then I get to test it a little bit tonight, too, with my buddy Ray. I'm going to test this list and see how it is with the adjustments and stuff like that. But as I said in the previous video, I am going to be taking out like the trap cards in it and replacing with like hand trap just because I think it's better. And then Tri-Brigade Zoo, like, it's weird because it's not typical to the decks I'm used to playing. Like, I'm used to playing big like combo heavy oriented decks and stuff like that. But I also have this guilty pleasure of like flipping like trap cards, and I feel like this deck in particular lets me facilitate both of those like actual ones and stuff like that. So it's a deck that's really interested me for that, and it actually just won the Remote Duel Invitational. So as I'm profiling this list, I actually haven't seen the winning list, but it seems pretty similar to what I would play, so take that with a grain of salt. But before we hop right in, don't forget to check out the X2 Drop podcast. It looks like we're posting every other week, or sometimes there's a 2-week gap in between episodes. Don't forget to check out Bingo HD. At some point, he is going to start posting content, and hopefully he won't make me a liar whenever I say that, because I swear I've said that like 5 videos now and he still hasn't done anything. Don't forget to check out Legacy Crusaders, underrated YouTuber that I like watching. And for those of us who don't actually like watching profiles but like seeing my lists, I actually have a dueling book link in the description below where you can actually see the list for yourself and you can make the adjustments from there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the profile. So the Tri-Brigade monsters haven't really changed. We're playing 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Fractal. Not much to say. Level 4 Beast Warrior, I think it's the best starter card, and yeah, it is susceptible to cards like Ash and like Gamma, but that's why we're also playing other hand traps to kind of mitigate that. 3 copies of Kit still. I think this is the second best one, so we're still going with it. Still 3 copies of Nerval. They're not super yet, so don't judge me, but yeah, 3 copies of Nerval, and then I'm still only playing 2 copies of Karas. I've thought about playing 3 just to maximize my number of actual Tri-Brigade monsters, but I think 2 is still the perfect number in terms of actually playing it. And then for the Zoo monsters, nothing's really changed either. I play the 1 copy of Rat Pier because I'm only allowed 1 copy of Ram for the Rat Pier, and then 1 copy of Whiptail for combos. Arguably, I have seen people making the argument they want to cut the Whiptail for Thoroughblade because the Whiptail doesn't actually do anything, and I'm inclined to agree a little bit, but there are some combos that facilitate having to play the 1 copy of Whiptail. So I'm thinking about actually just adding a copy of Thoroughblade and bumping the Zoo count up to 4, but I don't know if it's necessary or not yet, so I'm still testing on that theory. And then for the hand trap, there's a lot more than just Ash Blossomness to go around. So I am playing 3 copies of Gamma because I think it's the highest impact hand trap right now, and I think it's really, really good in your deck. Arguably, I have wanted, Pac mentioned this in one of his streams, but he thought about playing Cyframe Lord Omega, which I'm not currently playing in my extra deck, but I kind of want to for this card. The problem is your extra deck is so tight. And then on top of that, another problem with this card that I've noticed, that if you have to use it and then you're forced to use a Tri-Brigade monster's effect to special summon a Link monster prematurely, then you can't really do anything with the Gamma that turn. It just kind of takes up space, but you really just want your Tri-Brigade monster's grave effects to resolve turn 1, so I think it warrants playing it. And then you have to play the 1 copy of Drivers. There's no way of really getting around that. I am still playing the 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I think it's the best generic hand trap currently, so that's that. I am playing 2 copies of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. This is mainly for the mirror match because I see it becoming more and more popular. But it does have some overlap versus other decks. Arguably, I don't think it's the greatest against Dragon Link, which I think is the second best deck right now. But it does have its moments where it can be high impact, so I think it warrants a spot there. I think it's also a decent card against Drytron, but you have to be able... The turn that you resolve the Ghost Bell, or when you're interrupting them, you have to be able to kill them the following turn, or it's not going to end up very good for you. So I don't know if I'll continue to play it past this profile, but I think Bell is a really, really good hand trap right now, and that's why I'm playing it. And then I'm also playing the 1 copy of DD Crow. You can search this off Shurag, and it has a lot of overlapping. It's a lot of matches. One other thing, Crow and Bell, they're also really good against Dino. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, so like I was saying in the combo video before this, you can search the DD Crow off Shurag if you open a copy of like Tinky or whatnot, and you still have access to like your Zoo cards. So I think that has a lot of overlap that you can actually use in multiple matchups, and I think playing the 1 copy is 100% correct, like for sure. And that's it for the monster and hand trap count. We'll go on to the spell cards. Here, if I don't drop the cards on you guys, I apologize. But we're playing 3 copies of Prosperity. I think it's the best consistency spell card that we have access to right now. I see some lists playing Prosperity, so on and so forth, but I just think Desires is better overall. The thing you need to note about your card, it is a tier 1 deck, but it kind of has the same problem as Salaman Great cards. Sometimes the Tri-Brigade cards or the Zoo cards aren't enough, and you need to see more cards to be able to beat your matchups, and that's why we're playing it. 3 copies of Tinky. It's just more copies of Fractal, and it's a copy of every single one of your Zoo monsters. Not much to say there. And then 1 copy of Zodiac Barrage. Again, just another copy of Zoo monster. Not much to say there. 1 copy of Called by the Grave, and 1 copy of Foolish Burial. I'm not playing triple talents anymore, just because popularity in cards like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and stuff like that aren't as popular as, well, as far as I've seen. Now that can change, obviously, and I think Tactics is a really good card. It's just I don't think it's necessary right now. And then on to the trap cards. So we're not playing nearly as many traps, but I'm still playing 3 copies of Revolt. I've seen people start making the argument, and I was one of those people too, that you could play 2. The problem with that is the card like this, you want to open and see in every single one of your opening hands, doesn't matter what it is, so I think it's 100% correct to play 3. Because Bear Bloom has the effect of when after you use its effect to like search and whatnot, you can only special summon Tri-Brigade monsters for the rest of the turn. That is slightly a problem. So in combo strings that you don't have to summon the Bear Bloom, that warrants playing the 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Revolt, because you can end on bigger fields like with Appaloosa and Double Dragon or Ancient Warriors Oath, Double Dragon Lords and stuff like that. So I think 3 is definitely the correct number. And then we are playing another hand trap in the form of 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I think this is really, really good against the Mirror. In other matchups, it has some okay overlap, but the Mirror is where it really, really shines, and that's why I'm main decking right now, because I think it's going to be more and more popular, especially after this remote Duel Invitational. So 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. And then the auto win against a lot of decks, I play Imperial Order. Obviously against your deck, there's only so many spell cards you can activate, so I don't think it's like super high impact, but I think again across the meta, this card's insane. Now, Altergeist it's really bad against, but I noticed this deck strangely has a weird Altergeist matchup. The new Amazement deck, this card might not be very good, but so on and so forth. I think it's so strong against the other tier 1 decks in the format that you should play it as a one-off, because it's an auto win when you flip it. And that was for the spells and traps. On to the extra deck, which this part hasn't changed a whole lot except for 1 card. Shout out to Stay Classy LLC. This field I really like. I don't know why, but I really like this field center. So there's that. For the actual Tri-Brigade Link monsters, like I said in the previous video, we are playing 1 copy of Bear Broom. You only need 1 copy. Same thing with Farragut. There's a lot of combos that require you to play this card. I sometimes thought about playing 2, but I think 1's the correct number for now. And it's just, if you had more room in the extra deck, I would play 2. It's just really, really cramped. Rugal the Silver Shoulder, not much to say there. It's just a generic Link 3 that you can make off your cards. Plus, it's another line of play that makes your Ominous Omen more viable if you're forced to flip the Tri-Brigade Revolt early. Plus, it recurs resources. The man himself, 2 Tri-Brigade. Sure, the Ominous Omen. If I could play 3, I would, because this card's like actually just kind of crazy. But 2 for now. If I can find the room, we're definitely going to play 3, though. This card's insane. And then on to the Zoo monsters themselves. The man himself, Borbo. This card, while I was watching Farfetch streams earlier, they were making an argument this card should be banned. And they're kind of right, especially since it gives you access to Zeus, but we're not going to get into that. 1 copy of Chakanine for the combos, 1 copy of Tiger Mortar for the combos, and 1 copy of Giant for the combos and Interruption. And then the man himself, Divine Arsenal, AA Zeus Sky Thunder. Not much to say about that card. I mean, it's like if your opponent doesn't have an answer to it going second, like you just win the game. And then for the generic links that you make with your Tri-Brigade monsters and starter cards, like all that fun stuff, we play 1 copy of Almirage because it has overlap with Nerval and has overlap with Kit. I would like to play Link Karibo, but in the Zoo build you don't have room for it. But if you're playing like a more pure build, you definitely should play Link Karibo. Ancient Warriors Oath, Double Dragon Lords, not much to say there. He is an interruption that you can make off your Tri-Brigade monsters, and he's really good there. The card I wanted to play in the last profile, but I just forgot to grab it. I can't pronounce its first name, but it's basically the Desperate Doom Eagle. This card has really good overlap in matchups like Drytron. It also has really good overlap in matchups like Dinos that I keep forgetting to mention because that deck's actually just insane. But yeah, card's crazy, and it's a generic Link 3 that we can make with the Tri-Brigade monsters. So yeah, you got that going for you. Appaloosa, probably one of the best cards in the extra deck currently, and then when you go for game, you push with Access Code Talker. And that was my Tri-Brigade Zoo deck profile. Don't forget to tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Give me critiques. Tell me what you think the new trends are. Like all that fun stuff. I always like hearing other people's opinions about this type of stuff. Don't forget to check out the X2 Drop podcast, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.